What if everything you were taught about history was a carefully constructed lie designed to hide the truth of our own extinction? Beneath the polished, veneer-like surface of our academic textbooks lie cold, hard, and deeply disturbing realities that have been systematically scrubbed from the historical record. We are quite literally walking on a vast, unmarked graveyard of forgotten events, and tonight, we are digging up the bodies. It's not just about what we don't know, it's about what we are being actively kept from by institutions that benefit from our ignorance. You're about to see the cracks in the foundation of reality. Let's start with a book that by all logical accounts shouldn't exist. The Voynich Manuscript is a nightmare bound in vellum, a literary anomaly that defies every rule of linguistics and paleography. It's filled with intricate, haunting illustrations of botanical specimens that don't match any known flora on Earth, astrological charts that align with no sky ever recorded by ancient or modern astronomers, and a script that has baffled the greatest code breakers in history, including the legendary minds who cracked the Nazi Enigma machine during the Second World War. It's not just indecipherable, it feels intentional, as if it's mocking our arrogant attempts to understand it. But that wasn't even the worst part. Scientists have carbon dated the parchment to the early 15th century, yet the ink contains chemical properties that appear centuries, if not millennia, ahead of their time. Is it a hoax? A masterpiece of medieval trolling designed to baffle future generations? Or is it a record of a world that existed before our own, one that was systematically erased from human history? The silence surrounding its origin is deafening. And then something even more disturbing happened. Cryptographers who spend too much time with the manuscript report a strange, lingering sense of dread, as if the book itself is watching them, observing their frustration. Could it be a psychological trap, a feedback loop of human obsession, or is there a genuine, malevolent energy trapped within its vellum pages? Why would someone spend years crafting a book that serves no discernible purpose, unless the purpose was to hide something we aren't meant to see? We are talking about thousands of pages of pure, unadulterated mystery. It's a rabbit hole that leads to total, irreversible madness. But let's move to the physical world, where people simply stopped existing. The Roanoke Colony, settled in 1587, was supposed to be the start of a new, glorious era for English expansion in the New World. Instead, it became the ultimate ghost story. When the supply ships returned 3 years later, they found absolutely nothing. No bodies. No signs of a struggle. No signs of life, habitation, or even a basic camp. Just a single word carved into a wooden post, Croatoan. It's a simple word, yet it carries the crushing weight of 1,000 silent screams. Did they walk into the dense, unforgiving forest and vanish into the ether? Were they taken by forces we can't comprehend? The most unsettling part is that we have found no evidence of a massacre, no mass graves, and no remnants of their personal belongings, which should have been scattered if they were raided. It's as if they were plucked from our reality like a loose thread from a tapestry. Have you ever wondered what it feels like to be completely forgotten by the world? The colonists didn't just die, they were erased from the timeline. Some suggest they integrated with local tribes, but genetic evidence has never confirmed this, leaving a void where history should be. The truth is far more unsettling. There are whispers of strange, pulsating light seen in the sky over the Outer Banks during that specific period, stories that were suppressed by colonial authorities to avoid mass panic. Is it possible that the Roanoke settlers were the first victims of an interdimensional phenomenon that still persists today? Think about the implications. If 100 people can vanish into thin air, what is stopping it from happening to us? The terror of the unknown is the most potent weapon in history, and it is a weapon used against us every day. But wait, there's more to this darkness. Beneath the surface of our oceans and buried deep within the earth lie treasures that have driven men to total insanity. We aren't just talking about hoards of gold or piles of jewels. We are talking about artifacts of power, items that supposedly grant influence, health, or even control over time itself. The Amber Room, the lost mines of the Incas, the treasures of the Knights Templar, these aren't just myths for the campfire. They are real-world objects that have been hidden away by secret societies for centuries, protected with blood and silence. Why keep them hidden? Because some things are too dangerous for humanity to possess. Imagine holding a piece of history that could rewrite the laws of physics, a relic that functions on principles we haven't even begun to formulate. The greed surrounding these objects has left a trail of blood and broken lives that stretches across continents and centuries. Every single person who has ever truly come close to finding these lost caches has met a sudden, inexplicable end. Is there a curse, or is it just the cold, calculated efficiency of those who want these things to stay buried? You have to ask yourself, are we being protected from these treasures, or are we being kept from our own potential? The tension is building, and we are only scratching the surface of a global conspiracy of silence. Now, let's talk about the codes that keep us awake at night. The crypto sculpture at the CIA headquarters has 4 sections, 3 of which have been solved, but the 4th remains a fortress of silence. For decades, the best minds on the planet have failed to crack it. Why? Because the code is likely designed to never be broken. It's a riddle that defines the boundary between intelligence and madness. And then there are the Voynich-like structures found in ancient ruins, repeating patterns that suggest a global language we've somehow managed to forget. What if we are living in a simulation, and these codes are the glitches we keep running into? Every time we get close to a breakthrough, we find ourselves hitting a wall that shouldn't be there, a digital firewall of reality. It's enough to make you question your own sanity. But the most terrifying discovery of all is the existence of artifacts that defy the timeline of human development. We found clockwork mechanisms in ancient Greek shipwrecks, like the Antikythera mechanism, that are more complex than 18th century watches. We found batteries in Mesopotamia that shouldn't have been invented for another 2,000 years. These are the impossible artifacts. They aren't just weird, they are a direct challenge to everything we know about human evolution. If we didn't build these things, then who did? And if they were here before us, where are they now? The silence of the universe is the loudest sound you will ever hear. We are living in a house of cards, and these artifacts are the heavy weights that threaten to bring the whole structure down. Think about the implications of a civilization that possessed advanced technology thousands of years ago, only to vanish into the dust. Is this our future? Are we doomed to repeat the cycle of discovery and destruction? The evidence is staring us in the face, but we are too blinded by our own arrogance to see it. We cling to our history books like safety blankets, ignoring the monsters that live in the margins. It's a cold, hard world, and the truth is rarely comfortable. If you think you know the world, you're wrong. You're just looking at the version they want you to see. The shadows are getting longer, and the questions are becoming more dangerous. What happens when the last secret is revealed? What happens when the archives are finally opened and we see exactly what's been hidden from us? The fear is real, the history is scarred, and the mystery is far from over. We are just observers in a game we don't understand, playing by rules that were written by entities we can't even perceive. Every single one of these mysteries is a warning. A warning that we aren't the masters of this planet, nor are we the first to walk its surface. We are merely the latest generation to walk through the ruins of something far more complex and terrifying. The truth is not out there, it is under your feet, buried in the dark, waiting for you to stop looking away. Are you ready to see what's behind the curtain? The final piece of the puzzle is closer than you think, and it's going to change everything you believe about your own existence. There are still countless mysteries left to discover. Consider, for a moment, the Piri Race Map, a 16th century document that depicts the coastline of Antarctica with astonishing accuracy, long before it was officially discovered by modern explorers. How could a 1500s cartographer possess the technology to map a landmass buried under miles of ice? The only logical conclusion is that the map was copied from much older source material, dating back to a time when Antarctica was ice-free. This implies a lost maritime civilization with global reach, a society that was wiped clean from the annals of time. We see similar anomalies in the construction of the Great Pyramids or the monolithic stones of Baalbek, where blocks weighing hundreds of tons were moved with a precision that defies our modern engineering capabilities. We are told they used copper chisels and brute force, but that is a lie designed to keep us from realizing that our ancestors possessed, or were given, knowledge that we have yet to reclaim. Look at the U-parts, out-of-place artifacts. The London hammer, a stone-encrusted tool found in 400-million-year-old rock. The Dropa stones, discs with spiral grooves that hum with an electromagnetic charge. These are not merely mistakes in the archaeological record, they are screaming contradictions. If we ignore them, we ignore the reality that time is not the linear, progressive path we are sold in school. It is a cycle. A cycle of growth, peak, and inevitable, catastrophic collapse. We are currently riding the crest of a wave, unaware of the shore that waits to shatter us. Consider the secret archives of the Vatican, a labyrinthine library that houses secrets that could topple governments and rewrite every religion on Earth. Why is it closed off? What are they guarding? It isn't just correspondence, it's proof. Proof of extraterrestrial contact, proof of past civilizations, proof that we are not alone. They keep these secrets not to maintain order, but to maintain control over the narrative of human existence. When you realize that the most powerful entities in the world are dedicated to hiding the truth, you begin to understand the sheer scale of the deception. We are puppets living in a theater of shadows, and the strings are being pulled by those who know exactly what happened to the people of Roanoke, exactly who wrote the Voynich Manuscript, and exactly why the fourth section of Cryptos remains locked. The psychological toll of knowing this is immense. It creates a dissonance that forces you to view every news headline, every scientific discovery, and every historical lecture with a healthy dose of suspicion. You start to notice the gaps. You start to see the inconsistencies in the official accounts. You realize that history is not a collection of facts, it is a weaponized narrative. And once you see it, you can never unsee it. The world becomes a darker, more dangerous, but ultimately more honest place. You stop looking for comfort and start looking for the truth. Think about the legends of Atlantis, Lemuria, and Mu. We dismiss them as myths, yet every culture across the globe shares a story of a great flood that destroyed a high civilization. Is it possible that these were not myths, but collective memories of a global extinction event that we have been conditioned to forget? If our ancestors could be wiped out in a single day, why do we think we are any different? We are building our skyscrapers on the graves of the last civilization that thought they had finally reached the pinnacle of human achievement. They were wrong. And if we don't start questioning the reality we are fed, we will be the next ones to vanish, leaving behind nothing but a few artifacts that future generations will scratch their heads over, wondering who we were and why we were so blind. This is the ultimate secret. We are living in the ruins of a past so grand and so terrifying that we cannot even conceive of it. The truth is not out there among the stars, it is beneath your feet, buried in the dark, waiting for you to finally stop looking away. The archives are waiting. The truth is calling. Are you truly prepared to face the reality of your own insignificance? Are you ready to admit that everything you've ever believed is a fragile, paper-thin lie? The journey into the darkness has only just begun, and there is no turning back once the veil has been lifted. The mystery is not just a story, it is the reality of your existence. Keep digging, keep searching, and above all, keep questioning, because the truth is the only thing that will survive when the house of cards finally falls. The shadows are waiting for you to step into them. Do not blink. Do not look away. The truth is the only thing that matters, and it is coming for all of us, whether we are ready or not. The final chapter of human history is being written right now, and it is up to us to ensure that we are the ones holding the pen, rather than becoming the next footnote in a history that nobody is allowed to read. The mystery runs deep, and the rabbit hole goes all the way to the center of the earth. Are you coming with me? Because the truth is not just a destination, it is the only way out of this prison of lies.